Hey guys, what's up? It's Anthony with Firecat Cinema, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K and why we decided to get it as our B camera for our industrial videos we create. So here it is, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Now, we got this camera because we'd been needing a B camera for a while when we do interviews and things like that, and we'd been looking at a lot of Sonys, the a7S II, the a7 III. We were deciding whether or not we should wait for the a7S III to come out later this year or next year, whenever that's going to be releasing, but we decided to go with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera for a couple of reasons. The first being that we shoot all of our normal videos with the Ursa Mini 4.6K. That's actually what this is being shot on right now. And this color space just works perfectly with the Ursa Mini, and so we thought it'll save us a lot of time doing color grading if the cameras have the same kind of color space. So that was the first reason. And the second reason is the 4K in-house RAW from Blackmagic RAW that this produces is absolutely gorgeous. So we really wanted to be able to use RAW when we're shooting our B-roll and things like that, because when we're doing things so run and gun for industrial video, it's really nice to have the option to change stuff up in post. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it if you have the time. Always do setups and things so that, you know, you have complete control. But in this scenario, you know, with us having to run around so much, it was really useful to get this camera. So this past week, I actually got to test it on our first commercial for a client. We were shooting a pet product video, and I had to be running in front of some dogs, shooting them as they're running towards a car, and we shot it in slow motion with 60 frames per second raw in camera, and I could not have been more happy with how the result turned out. I mean, it was just so simple for someone who grew up on a DSLR like the 5D Mark III, which was my first like industrial camera that I was using for commercials, to be able to just hold this camera like I used to and just be running backwards like this with it. It felt like I was right back at home. And I love the 4.6K and the image that it creates, but sometimes when you're trying to do stuff with animals and things like that, it's nice to be able to have a smaller body that you can move around with quicker. And with the 24-105 f4 IS lens that Canon has that we use for most of our shoots on this camera, it was not a problem at all to have stabilization on and just get some wonderful shots outdoors. So I'm really happy with how this worked on that dog product video, but that was outside, it was in the sunlight. I had a feeling this sensor was going to do pretty well out there, but I don't really know how it does in low light and those sorts of things. And so when I was going to buy the camera, that's one of the things I noticed was no channel had really gone over all of the aspects of this camera yet. And so what I wanted to do in this new series that I'm starting with this video is kind of figure out everything about this camera and be able to share it with you guys as I go along. Because I remember when I was first deciding to purchase it, I couldn't find, you know, which of the Metabones adapters to get for the 4/3 sensor that is in this camera and the micro 4/3 attachment. You know, there's two different Metabones that allow it to connect to Canon lenses, which is what we run off of mainly for Firecat, as well as just like the low light with the dual native ISO at 400 and 3200, really getting to test that out and see how it works with, you know, color tones as well as, you know, grain overall, and seeing those kinds of things. So we know really well when we're doing our industrial video commercials or testimonial videos or whatever it is, that we're getting the best image out of the camera possible. And that's what we're going to be testing on this channel in this upcoming series on this camera. So if you really are enjoying the content and you want to see some low light testing, some things to do with the setup and why I have a, you know, cage on the camera and what that's all about, as well as just any other testing, leave a comment down below saying what it is that you'd like to see. And make sure to subscribe, because we're going to be doing lots of videos on this channel basically talking about this camera and what it's capable of over the next coming weeks. And I'd really like to have you along for the journey and figuring it out and like just having a lot of fun with this sensor. Speaking of fun, you can check out a video right now that's coming up alongside this one. My girlfriend and I were doing some stuff with acrylic paint, and I decided to pop this camera out and do some slow motion tests and things like that while we were doing that. And it was really fun to see the results of that, so you can check that out either in the recommended videos or wherever it is that you can see the other videos. And yeah, just looking forward to working with you guys and finding out what this camera can do. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.